Howdy crew, another big update for the proposed welding rig. Let's just get to it. Alrighty, so big change again. I've been looking at the utility trucks, the ones that y'all see for just different companies, big or small, with all the cabinets on the side. And that's what I've been looking at for a long time because it looks great. You got all the cabinets there, you put all your stuff in. But for me, what I really like about the trucks that are coming out that are not the utility trucks is that they have the 360 cameras on them. If y'all have any vehicle that has 360 cameras, you know what I'm talking about. It's really nice being able to see what's around you, especially on small job sites. There's posts sticking out, there's rebar, there's all kinds of things everywhere. If y'all have been on job sites, big or small, there's things sticking out of the ground, there's posts, there's parts of buildings that aren't tall, you don't see in the rearview mirror. And if you look at the utility trucks, they're bashed in all the time because guys run into things left and right. And I really don't want to do that to my truck, whichever truck it's going to be. And so it's after a lot of thought and deliberation, I'm not going to get the utility style truck. I'll just be getting a regular pickup style truck. So have the pickup bed and then put cabinets on top. I'm going to be working on the layout. I've been doing measuring. I'll be updating y'all once I get that more concreted. I do have a general plan that everything's going to fit, everything's going to be fine. It'll fit somehow. I'll make sure it does. Everything looks good at the moment, but just the utility truck, I was really disappointed in it because there's the cabinets on both sides, got the ladder racks. You can have that on there. You put the welding machine in there. You have your oxy fuel and any other gases you need. And it was just looking great. One thing I didn't like also is that they didn't have ventilated seats. My F-150 Lariat has ventilated seats, 360 cameras, and I really enjoy having those luxuries. Now, obviously, work truck, I was fine without the ventilated seats. It's a work truck. It don't have to be luxurious. But the 360 cameras, be able to see all the way around, I find that to be a necessity. And apparently, nobody puts that on work trucks that I could find. And I called the fleet manager that I had my truck made from years ago, several years ago. And she said, no, apparently you can't have the 360 cameras on the utility beds, which in my mind, that's really stupid. I think Ford should be able to have 360 cameras there because what if you're backing up? You got a bunch of stuff in the back, whether someone has lumber, metal, welding machines, oxy-fuel tanks. You can't see what's behind you. They do have a backup camera, but they don't have anything to the sides. And any of y'all that have been on job sites, there's stuff everywhere, especially on big ones. You got contractors leaving their stuff everywhere. You got crews coming in, leaving their crap everywhere. And you got junk laying around because it happens. And this is a holding area for this group. This is a holding area for that group. You have some tools here because they don't need over there yet. And there's stuff everywhere. As much as you try and have cones out, you have the little red or orange, little whatever you call them that you stick on rebar sticking out of the ground. Even if you can't see that because there's no cameras over there, you run into it. I don't want that with my truck. It's just not going to happen. I'm not going to allow that. And for insurance reasons as well. I would like a lower insurance policy. I can say that it has 360 cameras. Less likely I'm going to run into anything compared to a truck that has no cameras on the sides or anything, or a basic backup camera, and there's no sensors to stop it. I'm not saying not a careful driver, but you have all these other things that you can say to the insurance company, here's all these safety features as to why you won't have to pay for a damaged truck on my end. They'll like that. And so I'll be going with a truck. I've been going back and forth between a F-250 or 350. I'm going to go with the 350. And I'll probably just get the Lariat because it's going to be the same as my F-150, just a 350. And so it's going to be a really nice truck. I'm going to order it through the fleet manager that I know that does trucks like that. Just the regular pickup beds. But it's going to be a heck of a nice truck. It's going to be expensive. And then adding all the other stuff on top, more expensive. But it is what it is. I want to make sure that my truck's not going to have dings in it left and right. Things can happen. I get at job sites. Other people are back into me. Not that I like that fact, but things can happen. But I want a presentable truck. I want a nice truck going up to job sites. I want to be looking professional because I'm professional. I hold my standards high for my welds. I want it for the welding rig as well. I don't want some beat up, junky old truck pulling up to a job site because I don't want people looking at me like, well, what does this guy know? He's got some beat up truck. I'm not saying anything bad to the guys that are out there with beat up trucks. I swear I'm not putting y'all down. You have what you have. If that's all you afford, there's nothing wrong with that. But I know when I call someone out to my house to work on something and they come up in some beat up, ratty little truck and they come out not looking professional, I instantly start thinking, do these guys do good work that they can only afford this kind of truck, that their thing's all beat up? Why is it barely running? And it's just something that I go through in my mind. So I want to be looking presentable. I know my welds will be presentable. I know my work ethic is presentable, that I can go work for anyone, anywhere. I want my equipment and my truck to reflect that as well. It's sort of like some of the other videos I've been making lately, the self-respect, the dignity. And again, I'm not putting anyone down that has a beat up welding rig. If it's barely running, I'm not putting that down. I know guys that had trucks that were barely running, very, very, very used welding machines, great welds, great welders. There's nothing wrong with that. But I've worked really hard for all this. I'm not just gonna not put my 100% all into it, because there's some guys that worked hard for the used trucks and all that. It's perfectly fine. There's nothing wrong with that. But I worked harder, not harder, but hard for a longer amount of time. So that way everything's new. I don't have to worry about someone's problems with the used truck, a used welding machine. What's wrong with it? Why are they selling it? Used equipment. What is wrong with it? Why are they selling it? Did they beat it up and now I'm going to deal with someone else's problems? Are they all lemons? What's going on with that? So again, there's nothing wrong with trucks that have paint peeling, that have a little bit of engine issues. I just want to have that standard as I present my, sort of like how I present my welds. I'm not going to say, well, there's slag inclusion there and there's this over here, but it's going to hold. Don't worry, it'll hold. I don't do that. If something's wrong, even if it's not a structural weld, the weld's gone and it gets redone. If there's arc blow because some electricity's hitting the project and is sending the magnetics all haywire, I fix it and I redo it. Even if it's not a structural weld and it would have held whatever kind of weld it was, to me that's unacceptable. And I hold the same thing for the truck, the welding rig. It has to be presentable, it has to look nice. I'm not saying buy something that's really pricey just for the looks of it, but it has to be good. It has to be presentable. And if I'm not explaining this well, please put in the comments. I will rephrase this because I'm not putting down anyone that has welding rigs with paint peeling, used welding machines. That's actually how I was going to start off years ago, before other things happened that prevented me from doing that. But that's the boat I was going to be in. But things happen, injuries, truck got stolen, all kinds of stuff added up to where that route was no longer feasible by any means. And so worked really hard for years after that and going down this route. And I like the idea of showing up professional looking. It's I live in Los Angeles, so a good reference was, or would be, the folks in Beverly Hills. If they're hiring a gardener to mow the lawn for their $20 million mansion, we'll go to the cheap end, $20 million, and they hire a gardener, they're not going to be having someone that has a lawnmower from 1980, a truck that's from 1970, that paint is peeling, that the tires are bald, the equipment barely works. They're not going to be hiring someone like that. You look in Beverly Hills, the people that they have coming out, they have nice trucks, they have nice equipment. You have to set a standard. You don't want someone coming to your site looking like they don't know what they're doing or that they are not professional enough to perform to the level that they should be. And so again, if this sounds completely wrong or very demeaning, please put it in the comments. I will rephrase it because I swear that is not where I'm going at all. But I want everything to look professional. My welds and work ethic are on that level. I want my equipment to reflect that. So again, if any of y'all say, hey, this don't sound right, this sounds very egotistical, very cocky, whatever, put it in the comments. I swear I'll rephrase it because I'm not trying to make it sound like this at all. It's just when you do something professionally, you want to look professional. Think of big businesses, corporations. You can have some lawyer pulling in with his overalls and all that stuff. No, they have their suits, they have their ties, they have all that stuff because there's a level of professionalism that goes with your title of being partner of a accounting firm or partner of a law firm of any sort. You're not going to have some guy pulling up his overalls, no t-shirt, hay sticking out his mouth. I mean, I roll in like that because I'm a welder. But, it's not going to fly in those other settings. There's professionalism about. And it's the same thing with equipment. You're not going to have some ratty little corporate office for a huge corporation that's trying to be professional. So there's a give and take. There's to where you're overspending, but then there's also to where you're underspending. And I'm trying to meet that middle ground. So again, if this sounds wrong, please tell me in the comments. Please say, hey, this sounds kind of wrong, or this can sound really bad for this phrasing, and I'll rephrase it, I'll put it a different way. Hope you all know what I mean, because I'm not trying to put down anyone or anything like that, because I know guys that have trucks that are not new. The welding machines aren't new. I was going to go that route years ago, but I decided with that route disappearing on me, work more, work longer, and go this route. But also, I really like this route more because it'll present my skill set better. No one's going to have any prejudgment towards my skill set because I'm pulling up in the truck I used to have or the machine I was going to get. So hope this makes sense. It's just part of business. You got to be professional. You got to be just have some dignity about you. You got to just roll in, be professional, have your equipment look professional, and do good welds. That's it at the end of the day. Just do good welds and be professional. Hope you all enjoy.